Monday Night Football, we got Buffalo and New York. Welcome, guys. My name is DK. In this video, we'll be talking about the Monday Night Football Showdown slate. Also cover content for player prop sites like Prize Picks, Underdog, and Parlay Play. Parlay Play, they're the sponsor of the video. You can use the code DKDFS for a $100 deposit match. I'll have it linked down below. But yeah, happy to be working with them. We'll be tweeting out some slips. We gave out the free square a couple days ago that cashed for Thursday Night Football. So you guys are not on Parlay Play, again, they have basically every single sport you can think of. So give it a try. Link down below. And yeah, so let's get into the video. Also, if you're looking for more content, you can check my Patreon link down below for both DFS and for player prop stuff. Preseason, again, we had a great preseason betting on NFL player props. Kind of a so-so week one yesterday. But yeah, that was preseason. And then this was huge. I tweeted this out for free. It was, you guys knew I was very, very high on Tutu Atwell. And took his all receiving lines at both 50 plus and 75 plus. They both hit. So hopefully some of you guys tailed that. Again, that was posted for free on Twitter. And yeah, so that is everything there. I have no further comments about what I witnessed last night. No comments about Cowboys D way overpriced, being 20% owned. You're gonna forget that happened, right? That just did not happen. So yeah, we're just, like I said, we're gonna pretend that game did not occur, and the defense slappies, chalk defense slappies, were not rewarded. So that's all I have to say on that matter. Let's hope this game is better than last night. So let's just get into it. I'll start off with Buffalo. And at the top, you have Josh Allen, 11.4K. He's going to be the most popular play in the slate for sure. He's projected for massive ownership. He should be. Just a guy with a pretty high floor plus ceiling. We know the quarterbacks have a very high floor on the Showdown slate. So, yeah, not a ton to say on Josh Allen. He's a clear cash game quarterback or cash game captain as well. Yeah, he looks straight at the top. Stephon Diggs at 10.6K is going to get a fair amount of ownership as well. Now, matchup not necessarily the best, right? You're going to assume that you're going to see a lot of Sauce Gardner, but volume alone still makes Stephon Diggs firmly in play here. I'm expecting probably around 10 targets from him. Still a guy with a massive ceiling, so yeah, still have interest in him. He's projected for a good amount of ownership, and he should be. All right, James Cook is 8,000. Don't love the price point here. I'm not convinced he's going to be like a bell cow back for Buffalo. You have a couple other guys here on the depth chart, right? You have Damian Harris, you got Latavius Murray. So I think Cook is playable, James Cook that is, but yeah, again, I don't love the price point there. Gabe Davis is 7.2. So if you're going to fade Stephon Diggs, then I think Gabe Davis makes a lot of sense here, right? If the Jets kind of sell out to stop Diggs, then you should see if Stephon Diggs struggles, you should see a pretty big game for Gabe Davis. So I like him as a pivot. Again, he has a bit of a lower floor, still should play a majority of the game. So I like the upside there on Gabe Davis. And then Damian Harris is 5.4. Again, I don't love the price point either. He's more of just like a bruising back, just like a tournament play. RB2 there. Then you have two tight ends for Buffalo. The rookie Dalton Kincaid is 5,000. He's a good pass catcher. I expect him to be heavily involved. But also Dawson Knox is definitely going to be in the mix too still. So I think that Kincaid, probably the guy with the higher ceiling. But it's going to be interesting to see what the snaps are going to look like for the two tight ends here. Is Kincaid just going to clearly outsnap Knox, or is it going to be more of an even split? If you look at the depth chart for Buffalo, they do have Knox technically listed ahead of him. But yeah, I think both tight ends are viable options. But it makes it tricky for me to feel good about either. Tyler Bass is 4.2. Again, the kickers are always safe plays in the showdown, so I think he's a pretty good play. Bills D is fine at 3.8K. Yeah, I mean, obviously the defenses can always get like a pick six, like you saw last night. So not a lot of strong takes there in the Bills D. And then a few other things to mention. So I think probably your best value right now for Buffalo is going to be Deontay Hardy. So he is expected, I'm expecting him to be the wide receiver 3 for Buffalo. And he's very cheap, right? $200. You also have, again, Khalil Shakir at 2.4 and Sherfield. So take a look at the Buffalo receiving core. Again, you got Hardy, you got Shakir, you got Sherfield. Now, looking at price points, right? Hardy's the flat man price. Shakir is 2.4. Sherfield holds the flat man price. So I think Hardy is your best overall play. I do think he'll get the most ownership of this group, but I still think guys like Shakir and Sherfield are viable options too. So this is where I think you can get some value in the slate is with these cheap wide receivers for the Bills. You're going to see Diggs and Gabe Davis play majority of the game. And then I think, again, Hardy will play some in the slot. I think Sherfield and Shakir will also mix in. All right, let's move on to the Jets. The Jets got Garrett Wilson at 10.4. I think he's going to have a pretty big year here. Again, had a really good year, rookie year last year, playing with some questionable quarterbacks. And now he gets Aaron Rodgers. Pretty big upgrade there. So I like Garrett Wilson a lot. Looking at ownership right now, let's see. Him and Diggs are similarly owned. I might slightly give the edge to Wilson, but I like both the top wide receivers on this Showdown slate. Aaron Rodgers is 9.8. He's going to obviously be popular, and he's a pretty safe play. But he will be less owned for sure than Josh Allen. But yeah, I think Rodgers, sub 10K price point, pretty safe play, definitely a cash play for sure. The issue with Rodgers is obviously no mobility at this point in his career. I don't think he has like a massive ceiling, but still reasonable price point for a quarterback. And safe play. The running back's probably going to be a stay away from me at the price points. Dalvin Cook, Breece Hall, 7.8K for Cook, 8.2K for Hall. If I had to pick one, it definitely would be Dalvin Cook. Instead, he's expected to see a bulk of the carries. I still think you're going to see some Breece Hall. That list is questionable, but I expect him to play. And maybe even some Michael Carter or Abanikanda. But yeah, I don't love the price points for the Jets backs. The running backs in general on the slate don't look great. But I think if I had to play one running back in the slate, it probably would be Dalvin Cook. I expect Cook to start. I expect Breece Hall to mix in. Maybe even some Michael Carter, but I think Cook is your safest overall running back play. Lazard is a 6.4. He's kind of in a weird price range in the Showdown slate. I think the kind of optimal build is setting up that stars and scrubs type build. But Lazard, should be the wide receiver 2 in this offense, should play a majority of the game, and I think is a decent option. I think he's fine. Don't love him, don't hate him. Ownership, probably not going to be too high on him. Going down a little bit more, you got Conklin at 4.8K. Will be the tight end 1 for the Jets. I think is a relatively solid option, but you do have Uzoma too, who I think will mix in as well. Zerline, same thing I said about the other kicker, right? Safe play. Jets defense at 3.6, playing at home. If I had to play 1D, I think I would give the edge to the Jets D, but it's close. They're both fine options, but it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what the ownership is on them. Like, will there be higher owners because everyone saw what happened with the Cowboys last night? Let's see. Looking at ownership projections. Yeah, I mean, they're both projected for like mid-teens ownership. Bills D projected for a little bit more ownership. So we know defense is a very high variance position. And I guess if I was to pick one, I would rather go to the lower owned one, which right now are the Jets D. Again, that's ownership projections. Now, taking a look at the wide receiver 3 here for the Jets. Cobb, I mean, he's dust at this point of his career. But in the 10 snaps that Aaron Rodgers played, in the preseason, Randall Cobb's out there for 80% of them. So, that is kind of leading me to believe that he's going to play a good chunk, right? And at this price point, if you're going to see, let's just say you see like 60% of snaps for Randall Cobb at 3.4K, I actually do think he makes a pretty safe play. So, you got Cobb. I do think you're going to see some McCole Hardman as well. I think he'll mix into the slot. I think Hardman is a much higher ceiling, but I think he'll play less. Doesn't mean he's out of play, right? I think based on what we saw in the preseason, Cobb should get more snaps and is a safer play. But I do think Hardman is a guy that still has that big play upside. So he's definitely viable. If you think the Jets are going to take it easy on Breece Hall and maybe even Dalvin Cook too, you can take a look at Michael Carter or Abanikanda in large field tournaments, but that's a pretty risky play. And then you got CJ Uzoma down here at $800. Again, will be the tight end too. still a guy that can catch passes, right? He had a couple good years in Cincinnati. So if you need some salary relief, I think he's fine. I think I prefer a couple other guys in the very cheap end to him. But Uzoma definitely in play. And I mean, we saw, was it last like 3 years? It's always the backup third string tight ends on the showdown slates. You play chalk defense, you play third string tight ends, you win all the money. That's just how you win showdowns. But no, seriously, I do think he's actually a fine value play on the slate. And yeah, that's it. I mean, the Jets do have a few other wide receivers on this roster. Irvin Charles, the two rookies, Brownlee, Gibson, but I don't expect them to see much action if at all. So I think it's going to be a lot of Wilson, Lazard out wide, and then probably Cobb, Hardman mixing in the slot. Let's see. Was there anything else I wanted to mention? I think that's it. So, like I said, guys, hopefully this showdown goes better than last night. Incredible stuff that I witnessed. Incredible stuff. But yeah, hopefully you guys had a good week 1. And let's close out strong here for Monday Night Football. If you do enjoy, just make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And yeah, we'll see you guys all in the next video.